had this clock here for a while now. This one that me and my daughter went to Kentucky and got. The movement's been taken away on the stand for a week now, so it's about time that I put it in the case. Still not quite sure on the manufacturer or when it was made. I haven't taken a black light to it yet. Maybe one day I will. But for now, I got the movement on, fixing to put the pendulum on, the weights, the hands that I do have, and we'll be back. This clock is, of course, made in England, but it's a one-chain system, just like my Dutch Wooba. There's only one continuous on this movement, and then it has a counterweight to ensure the chain stays where it's supposed to stay as the clock ticks away. But I need to put the hands on now. I wanted to show y'all this rest of this video, but I'm gonna have to take it all back apart, and I'll show you why. You saw the second hand drop in there, but also I don't have a pen in the hand yet, but I struck 3. The minute hand is not lined up, and also the hour hand has got a screw right here that the hour hand goes on one way, and it doesn't turn like your typical hour hands to allow you to adjust the clock. So I'm gonna have to take it all back apart. Rookie mistake. I should have done all this when it was on my stand, but I didn't. But I hope y'all like this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Here's another grandfather clock that I have, and I know who it's made by. Benjamin Gray of Loughborough, England. 30-hour clock. I got it while I was over in England. It has a inlay right here, ivory key handle. I don't have a key for it. Stand by and I'll put the hood on it for you. Here's the Benjamin Gray clock with the hood on it. And here's a picture of the original, the way I originally got the clock. I got it over in England, tall case clock. It was in a small cottage, and a lot of the cottages, the ceilings are not that tall. So a lot of the times, this is what happened to tall case clocks for people who owned tall case clocks. So I had it redone while I was over in England. The guy that did it was a British guy who worked on the base in the carpentry shop. He did an amazing job, and stand by, I'm going to show you something. When he redid this hood, he collected all the dust that was on top of the hood and put it in a salt and pepper shaker. And that way when he was done, he sprinkled some of the salt and pepper, some of the 200-year-old dust back onto the clock and he put some kind of preservative, and that's why the top of the clock looks like the way it does, because he put 200-year-old dust back on the clock and preserved it. But I'm really happy with the clock. Let me put this hood back on, then we'll talk. I had a neighbor that had this clock, and I wanted the clock, and I asked him if he'd sell it to me. He said no. And then in 1999, my neighbor was diagnosed with cancer, and he was selling out and moving to Ireland. So he told me he would sell me this clock. At the same time frame, I had a garden shed that I bought when I first got to England to store stuff in. The garden sheds over in England are built so well that you could take them apart, haul them to someplace else, and then easily put them back together. I had that garden shed sold for like 250 pounds. At the time, 250 pounds equal to about $400, something like that, maybe a little bit less. I told my neighbor that I would give him the 250 pounds or the garden shed. And because he was moving, he had a bunch of stuff that he needed to store, he took the garden shed. The clock had original glass, and when we got orders to go back to the States, the movers came in. They actually built a plywood case to put this clock in. And out of all the 100 plus clocks that I purchased in 1999 and early part of 2000, whenever they shipped my clocks, this was the only clock that got damaged, and what got damaged was the original glass. They had the imperfections in it. I had the clock appraised prior to leaving England because I had to get extra insurance for my clock collection, because the Air Force military didn't only insured up to like $3,500. So I got extra insurance, but I had to have this clock appraised. It appraised in 1999 over in England for an equivalent of $5,000. When I got back to the States, Abilene, Texas, when this clock was damaged, I made a claim against it, and I had to have it appraised again. The retired colonel in Abilene, Texas, who owned the clock dock shop, I asked him to come out to appraise my clock, and we talked for a little bit. He told me that English clocks aren't worth that much. I asked him to come out anyway. When he came out to the house, he was really happy and shocked with his clock. He also appraised it for $5,000 in May of 2000. May, June 2000, something like that. I don't think the clock would appraise for that much these days, because clock prices are down. But anyway, I hope y'all like this video. Again, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and God bless.